Hello, my friends. I am so glad you're back. Do you believe this is week 6 already of our 7 weeks of our story series? I'm a friend of God. Jesus stands next to me. That's true for you too. You're a friend of God, and Jesus stands next to you. And I'm going to share a story with you. It's a story that Jesus told. It's a story of a man. I won't tell you his name yet. This man was big and strong. He ran a fishing business. He did commercial fishing for a living. Now, if you've ever met a commercial fisherman, you know how strong they are. That is a lot of muscle that it takes to pull fish into a boat. That's a seriously hard job. Well, this man was a friend of God's, and he was a student of Jesus. He learned from him. We call students of Jesus disciples. This man knew that Jesus, during Holy Week, was going to be killed. And Jesus told all of his disciples, I'm going to be killed. And one of you disciples is actually going to betray me. Now, that's hard to hear. No one wanted to believe that. And all the disciples started saying, "Not me, not me, not me, not me." And Jesus looked at one of them and said, "Excuse me?" And the man said to him, "Look, even if I would die for you, I'd never betray you. I'd never deny you." And Jesus said, "Tonight you're going to deny me 3 times. I would never do that, even if I were to be killed." And Jesus just gave him a look. Well, that night, Jesus was arrested, and most of the disciples were scared, and they were hiding. Not this particular one. He was kind of following along. He was looking at the people who had arrested Jesus. He's at a distance. He hasn't quite run away, but he's not standing next to Jesus. And someone came up to him and said, "I recognize you. You were a friend of Jesus." You said, "Not me." And someone else came up and said, "Are you sure? Because you look familiar." "Not me." A third time, someone said, "I'm sure you're a disciple of his." "Not me." And he ran away. Then he felt horrible. He knew that he had denied knowing the best friend he could ever have. He felt horrible. Have you ever done that? You haven't stood up for a friend when you needed to? Or a friend hasn't stood up for you? That's a horrible feeling. Here's a picture of this man. When he knew what he had done, he felt bad. He was grief-stricken. Well, after the resurrection, Jesus came and met with that man again. Now, what do you think would happen? If you saw a friend who had denied you, would you speak to that friend or would you avoid him? Or would you go up there and really give him a piece of your mind, maybe scream at him and use horrible language? Not Jesus. Jesus saw him. He didn't avoid. He didn't scream. But he did confront him. He wanted this man to know that he had done wrong. But he had a chance to make it right. He forgave the man who was so grief-stricken and gave him another chance to live the rest of his life not denying Jesus, but embracing Jesus and proclaiming Jesus. And this man spent the rest of his life preaching Jesus to the world. Oh, what did you say? Oh, you're asking what his name is? That's Peter. That's the disciple Peter, who became the head disciple. He became actually the very first pope. So when you hear the story about St. Peter, what a wonderful, strong disciple he was. Well, yeah, he became that, but he didn't start out that way. He actually denied knowing Jesus, but he found forgiveness. If a friend of yours betrays you, here's my challenge. Don't avoid the person. Don't scream at the person. Tell the person how much that hurt and see if you can't still be friends. Or if you deny a friend of yours, it's not too late. Apologize. Try to make it up to that friend. Just maybe that friendship can be restored. Or if you've denied being a friend of God in your daily life, okay? Maybe you pretended you really don't go to church or really pray. You've pretended that you don't know who God is. God's quick to forgive if you return to Him. You are a friend of God. God calls you friend. Jesus is next to you to strengthen you. Let's never forget that. God's love's bigger than our mistakes. Don't try to make mistakes, but if you do, God will be there with us. Ready to sing a little bit more? I am a friend of God.